Hey guys, it's Carrie. Live from her house, actually not live, being taped on a Friday night. Today is Friday, March 5th, and I was sitting at the table thinking about books I read as a kid, and I was like, I want to read a book to you guys. Sounds crazy, but that's how I roll. So tonight I pulled out the book called The Haunted Dollhouse. Super rare book. I don't know if you remember, it came out in 1982. I actually bought it in 1983, even wrote the date down, April 2nd, 1983. The bookstore is my favorite store. So this book, the introduction is by V.C. Andrews, and it is the creepiest book. Are you ready? And look at the back. It is a creepy book. And look, it still has my smelly sticker on the front. Isn't that cool? All right, so you ready? This is what we do during COVID Friday night at home. The Haunted Dollhouse. Yes, my book's falling apart. I love my book. All right. Introduction. It wasn't my birthday, yet a large and very heavy package came in the mail addressed to me. Like most people, I enjoy opening unexpected packages. Like Sarah in this book, I opened my heavy package with anticipation. I found to my surprise a familiar kind of nightmare in Sarah's story. With Sarah, I stepped into another world. Sepia-colored, a monotone twilight zone that immediately evoked memories of my own childhood. When I had dreams of someone possessing the dollhouse of my dreams. Unlike Sarah, no one ever gave me the kind of dollhouse I really wanted. After reading the text and viewing the stunningly eerie photographs in this book, I'm glad that kind of dollhouse was denied me. When we were young and vulnerable and subject to the pressure, the whims, and the control of those older, stronger, and presumably wiser, we constructed within our minds a sanctuary. So the intro, V.C. Andrews. In times of distress and disappointment, we seek to disappear and fade into the perfect environment where we can control our own destinies. We don't realize when we're young that there's no perfect place. And if there were, how then would we entertain ourselves? In fantasy, most of us can only linger a short while before we are forced back to face up to those problems that drove us into fantasy in the first place. True that. With a strangely haunted feeling, I drifted into the dollhouse with Sarah, enthralled by the deja vu sense of having been there before, as perhaps all little girls, and maybe boys too, have been there before. Come journey with Sarah into her perfect environment, the perfect world of yesterday, when all things seem sweeter, much better, according to those who are older, stronger, and presumably wiser. V.C. Andrews. It is a creepy book for a kid, let me tell you. So I'm going to read the pages and show you the pictures. Every year on her birthday, Sarah makes a wish. Sometimes it comes true, sometimes it doesn't. This year, her wish will come true. Perhaps it would be better if it hadn't. So that's Sarah. Kind of creepy Sarah. On Sarah's 13th birthday, she blew out all the candles in one breath. You mustn't tell me your wish or it won't come true, Sarah's mother reminded her. She needn't have worried. Sarah's wish could not be told. After the party was over, Sarah went to her room. She liked her presents, the roller skates, and the tennis racket, but her happiness was not complete. Sarah had hoped for something more. Check out the roller skates! Sorry. Simple things make me happy. A large gift wrap box was waiting for her. It must be another present. What could it be? Who was it from? A card on the box was inscribed, "Best wishes on your birthday." The handwriting was vaguely familiar. Everything else in the room was as she had left it. Ooh, I see a Muppets poster in there. You love the Muppets. Sarah opened the box. It was as if someone had read her mind. It was the house with the mansard roofs and the gingerbread trim she had wished for than the one she had imagined she lived in so many times. Please ignore my dog. For a long time, Sarah sat in bed, studying the wonderful house and walking through it room by room in her mind. She greeted the staff that cared for it so lovingly, George the gardener, Mrs. Prouty the housekeeper, and Thelma her governess. It was hard to keep from touching the house once more before going to sleep. When Sarah awoke, her wish had come true. She was in the house. The tortoise shell on the table, the corner mirror, and the doll in the ebony cabinet were all where she knew they would be. Sarah knew this house well. She knew almost all its secrets, but she did not know what lay behind the locked door to the west wing. A breeze carrying a scent from the thorny rose garden blew the curtains away from the windows. It was a perfect day. She could not wait to dress and go outdoors. Sarah stood on the front lawn and admired the house. Old trees and heavy foliage surrounded it, hawthorn trees and yews. She almost had forgotten how beautiful the house could be on a summer day. It was fine weather for rolling a hoop on the gravel path. She liked the dry crunch it made as she ran. Awfully lonely. Very morbid. Sarah noticed the garden was dry to the chrysanthemums and the hollyhocks. Why hadn't George watered the flowers? But what's up with the circles under her eyes? Why does she look dead? I don't know. Guess we'll find out. Sarah walked to the gate. It was unlike George not to be working, pruning the bushes or watering the gardens. Where was he today? Sarah could not find him. Poor Sarah. She's lonely. In the world of E.C. Andrews. Tired of searching for the gardener, Sarah tried to amuse herself with a game of croquet. There was an odd-shaped ball on the green. When she knocked it through the wicket, it smiled like George. Definitely a morbid kid's book. Nothing like hitting a skull. In your dollhouse land. Bored of playing croquet, Sarah wandered to the edge of the garden. Gypsy, the housekeeper's dog, came bounding out of the thicket. Sarah listened for the clanking of Mrs. Prouty's keys. The housekeeper was never far behind her dog. I think it's a Great Dane. I kind of think so. Big dog. At least she had a friend. Gypsy led Sarah to the old canal, sniffing yet deeply embedded footprints along the path that suddenly swerved towards the water. Something lavender was floating in the water. Lavender was Mrs. Prouty's favorite color. What a happy kid's book. Your housekeeper's dead in the canal. Sorry. That's why I wanted to read this. Sarah followed the canal to the lake and discovered Mrs. Prouty's umbrella near her usual resting spot. Mrs. Prouty was not there. The seagulls' mournful cries and the lapping of the water were soothing. Sarah closed her eyes. She recalled that Mrs. Prouty could not swim. Apparently that's why she's in the canal. Wearing purple. On her way back to the house, Sarah stopped at the woodshed, where the governess kept a collection of butterflies and shells. There are also books about spiders and orchids. Sarah looked through her favorite book. The pictures never failed to intrigue her. They always look so real. Just saying. I think that spider's real. When she reached the house, Sarah sat for a moment on the shaded back porch. The house had never seemed so abandoned, so quiet. Mrs. Prouty would usually fix lunch by about now. Seafood bisque. Sarah could almost taste the broth. I don't know, that's kind of creepy. Looks like octopus and blood, right? Yeeks. And a little dry ice. It was almost noon. Sarah was uneasy. There was no one around. She had been looking forward to taking lunch with the staff and gossiping about the neighbors. But instead, she's walking through the woods carrying like a baby doll. That looks, well, unwell. Sarah decided to go to the top of the house. From there, she could see the gate to the lake. Apparently, she's not at the top of the house yet. She's on the lawn. There was no one in sight. All right, now she's up on the Widow's Walk. Sarah was tired and confused. She wandered down the stairs and into the greenhouse. The plants seemed to reach out and touch her, as George had done when she needed comforting. Everything reminded her of the staff. So this, look very closely, got a lot of hands coming out of those pots in the greenhouse. Happy children's book. And ignore wonder. Sarah entered the back storage room. A strangely blue statue lay on the daybed. It reminded her of Thelma. Sarah always imagined that such things lay behind the locked door to the West Wing. Well, so we have an armadillo and a huge religious statue. Fun place to be. Fun kids book. Sarah walked through the house and into the basement, searching for Thelma. Lunchtime had passed, and Sarah realized that Thelma would not be taking tea with her or complaining about the mice again either. So look very closely. A mousetrap with a hand in it. Sarah went upstairs and drew a bath. She would have to prepare her own picnic too. After the tap was turned off, the water continued to bubble. Oh, kind of creepy too. After the bath, Sarah dressed in her picnic outfit, a white cape dress and aisle stockings. How did she look? She could not see her reflection in the mirror. Is she a vampire? Is she dead? Is she like Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe? I don't know. She's got no image. Sarah walked towards the wood carrying a wicker basket with food she found in the pantry. Tasty frog's leg sandwiches and lemonade, enough for her and Dolly. The picnic was perfect. Sarah was so hungry she ate Dolly's sandwiches too. After Dolly fell asleep, there was no one to talk to. There had been no one to talk to all day. Dusk fell. I'm sorry, but Dolly is just morbid. Sad Dolly. The moon was full and yellow when Sarah returned to the house. In the parlor, the air was heavily perfumed with the scent of cypress. Sarah tried to read a book. Suddenly, Sarah felt herself being drawn into the great empty dining room. Very big, very empty. Candles were aglow on the great oak table, one for each year of Sarah's life. Someone had remembered. But why the circles under your eyes, Sarah? We don't know. At one end of the table, there was a birthday cake and a present too. If Thelma, Miss Prouty, and George would appear to sing happy birthday, the party would be complete. What do you think's in the box? I know. Maybe you know. Don't know. Sarah opened the box and saw a large key. The metal was alive to her touch. The housekeeper had always worn the key on a keychain around her neck. Sarah knew which door the key opened. Remember she talked about the West Wing? Now she's got the freaking key. What do we think's behind the door? Sarah snatched a flaming taper from the table and climbed the stairs. Apparently that dollhouse didn't have electricity. Because she is living in the dollhouse. Down the long hallway, Sarah ran to the locked door to the West Wing. Finally, she would know what was behind the door. Looked like she used a crimping iron for her hair. What do you think? I think so. The key fit. She knew it would. Well, of course. That's how books roll. No words, but a picture. Going through the door. It was nearly dawn when Sarah's mother sat up in bed. Someone was playing the piano, but the piano had been sold several months ago. Mother's baffled. The music was even louder in the hall. It was coming from Sarah's room. Totally like early 80s bathroom on Mom. Sarah's room was filled with music coming from a strange and beautiful dollhouse. Where was Sarah? Where had the dollhouse come from? Mother is shocked. Ah! Sarah's mother looked into the dollhouse. A tiny voice spoke to her. That's a bad picture. Sorry. Wonder what the voice said. Hello, Mother. This is where I'm going to live now. Don't worry, Mother. George and Mrs. Prouty and Thelma will be taking good care of me. So she's hanging out with the spirits in the dollhouse. The end. Isn't that a fantastic kids book? Wouldn't you want your kid to read this? Anyways, guys, it's Friday night, and hope you enjoyed the V.C. Andrews book, The Haunted Dollhouse. See you later.